In this episode, we are discussing imposter syndrome, which is pervasive among business leaders. Many entrepreneurs struggle with feelings of self-doubt, fearing that they aren't as competent or deserving of their success as others perceive them to be. We'll explore the impact of imposter syndrome, share compelling statistics, real-life examples, and actionable tips to help listeners build confidence and recognize their self-worth.
Hey, lady bosses, are you working even after putting the kids to bed but still not getting results?
Are you tired of spending money on ads that aren't getting engagement?
Do you feel burdened that you aren't fulfilling your purpose in life because you are so consumed with work?
I'm your host, Brooke Boltz. I'm an attorney and founder of Boltz Legal. I started my business and in 1 year was bringing in 7 figures and am now bringing in multi-7 figures.
And I'm your co-host, Rachel Boltz, owner of Boltz Media. I've helped many businesses build their online presence and increase their revenue through digital marketing.
Want to hear how we did it?
We are here to help you achieve your goals personally, professionally, and spiritually.
So kick off your high heels, sit back, and let's ignite that passion.
We're Miss Biz, where we're putting the Miss in biz.
Let's get biz done.
Imposter syndrome is one of those buzzwords that you hear often on podcasts or on the internet, but there's not a whole lot of shedding light on what can be done to overcome it. So we thought that this would be an important episode for our listeners who may be struggling with this personally or know someone who is. So what imposter syndrome is it's a psychological pattern where individuals doubt their accomplishments and have persistent fear of being exposed as a fraud. Despite evident success and external validation, those experiencing imposter syndrome often attribute their achievement to luck or external factors rather than their actual skills, their hard work, or even their talent. And this phenomenon itself can lead to a tremendous amount of anxiety, stress, inadequacy, which can then significantly affect their personal and professional lives.
So common signs of imposter syndrome are things like self-doubt, which is constantly questioning your abilities or qualifications, perfectionism, which is setting excessively high standards and feeling disappointed when they're not met, fear of failure, which is avoiding new challenges or opportunities due to the fear of making mistakes, or discounting praise, which is believing that compliments or recognition are undeserved or exaggerated.
There are numerous studies out there about imposter syndrome, and one of them, which is from the International Journal of Behavioral Science, found that 70% of people experience imposter syndrome at some point in their lives. And among entrepreneurs, this number may even be higher due to the unique challenges that they face.
The Harvard Business Review reported that imposter syndrome can lead to increased stress, anxiety, and even burnout, affecting both personal well-being and business performance.
And there are even gender differences that exist. So studies show that women are more likely to experience imposter syndrome than men, with about 75% of women in professional settings reporting feelings of anxiety or inadequacy rather, compared to 55% of men.
So the term imposter syndrome originated in 1978 and was coined by psychologists Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes. And it was used to describe high-achieving women who felt like they were frauds despite their accomplishments.
And interestingly enough, some research suggests that a moderate level of imposter syndrome can be linked to a drive for high achievement, pushing individuals to work harder to prove themselves. So it can kind of be bittersweet, where it's one of those things that can actually hold you back because you're believing all of these terrible things about yourself. But then in the same respect, micro doses of that can actually benefit you because it's actually pushing yourself to go further and further.
Yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings about this because the opposite of imposter syndrome would be arrogance and being egotistical, and I would much prefer to have imposter syndrome than to be full of myself and think that I was the best thing on earth. So there's kind of, I think, this middle ground where you can be humble but not feel like a fraud.
Finding guests for a podcast can be difficult sometimes, so Brooke and I wanted to let you guys know that we are available to appear on your podcast.
We also enjoy speaking at events, so if you have an event coming up, these jingles can go on the road.
Simply go to missbiz.com/contact and in the subject line, write podcast guest or event speaker, and we'll reach out to you to further coordinate.
And have confidence so you're happy. I mean, I imagine those that struggle with imposter syndrome every day are tormented inside, not feeling like they're good enough, that they even earned all of these wonderful achievements that they've accomplished. I mean, that's got to be very, very challenging.
Yeah. So some real life examples. One is Maya Angelou, and she is a celebrated author and civil rights activist who once said, "I've written 11 books, but each time I think, they're going to find out now. I've run a game on everybody and they're going to find me out."
Yeah, even Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, openly discussed his feelings of being a fraud, especially when facing criticism or failure, demonstrating that even the most successful individuals can have these feelings of self-doubt.
As we're talking about this, I'm just thinking back to some biblical stories, and Moses, for example, when God challenged him and called him to go save the Israelites from Egypt, he had a ton of self-doubt, and he did not feel comfortable or confident to take on that task and that role. But God used him, I think, in part because of his humility, and later in life, there was a time where Moses struck a rock and water came from it, and he didn't give credit to God for that. And that was one of the reasons that God said Moses could not enter the promised land, because he got to the place that he started taking the glory for himself or not giving the credit to God. And so I think as we're talking through this, that imposter syndrome could be redirected pretty easily by just recognizing that, yes, me, myself, I am not anything amazing. Without God, I really am nothing. But because of him, because of who he has created me to be and the gifting and talents and callings he has on my life, now I have a purpose and a mission, but it really all still comes from him. Not from ourselves. And so I think that people with imposter syndrome can take solace in that fact that God has ordained them for this purpose and calling, even if they don't feel like they're worthy.
Mm-hmm. One of the first steps to overcoming imposter syndrome, aside from obviously laying it down at the cross and asking God for help, would be to recognize and acknowledge these feelings. Understand that you're not alone and that there are things that you can do to alleviate its pressure. And I think all of us are, like I said, most of us at times have felt different bits and pieces of imposter syndrome in certain capacities. And so I think really being able to recognize when you are having those feelings is going to be key so that you can make a plan to move forward.
Do you love the Miss Biz podcast?
Because we love you.
Here's 3 things you can do to show your support.
1. Write us a review. Apple, Spotify, and Google My Business are the best platforms to write a review.
2. Follow us on social media. Our handle is at Miss Biz Podcast.
3. Join our Facebook group, Miss Biz Nation, for exclusive content and behind-the-scenes footage. Also, ask questions related to your business and discuss topics from our episodes.
Also, reframe your negative thoughts. Challenge negative self-talk by reframing those thoughts. So instead of thinking, I don't deserve this success, try telling yourself, I've worked hard and I've earned this.
Yeah, you got to give credit where credit's due. Also, celebrate your achievements. Keep a success journal where you document your achievements, positive feedback, milestones, and things like that. Reviewing this can remind you of your capabilities and your accomplishments. I remember one time, Brooke, you shared how when you're having a bad day, sometimes you'll go back and read your Google reviews because you've got amazing Google reviews. And sometimes that's important to be able to kind of just really see the impact that you're having in the lives of others.
Also, seek support. Talk to trusted friends, mentors, or coaches about your feelings. They can provide perspective and remind you of your strengths and your successes.
And remember, be kind to yourself. Give yourself the type of kindness that you would offer to a friend. And remember that everyone experiences self-doubt, so it's okay to feel that way.
Set realistic expectations for yourself. Avoid perfectionism by being realistic. Understand that mistakes and setbacks are part of the journey and do not define your worth.
This one is really hard for me personally because if I make a mistake or even if I say something the wrong way, I think at night when I'm trying to go to bed, usually, man, I should have said this differently. I should have done that differently. And I do appreciate that time of reflection because it does help me kind of strategize how I can handle things differently in the future. But this one will eat you up inside if you are that perfectionist type of personality. So remembering to make sure that it's realistic and give yourself a little bit of grace is really important.
Yeah, I think a lot of people struggle with perfectionism and wanting everything to be just right. But also another tip is to focus on learning. Instead of viewing challenges as a test of your abilities, approach them as opportunities for growth. Embrace a mindset of continuous learning and improvement.
When you have imposter syndrome, you can be extremely hard on yourself, kind of negative towards yourself. So being able to visualize success, spending that time and looking at the steps that it took to get you there, that can reinforce your sense of achievement and capability.
And engage in professional development. Invest in your skills and knowledge through workshops, courses, or networking. Feeling more competent in your field can boost your confidence.
That is so true. If you're learning something new and you're not fully confident in that, just jump right in. That's the only way that you're really going to be able to get the confidence and skills that you need to know that you are fully capable and able. And also limit social comparison. This one can also be really hard too. Focus on your own journey rather than comparing yourself to others. Remember that everyone has their unique path and struggles, even if they don't show it. I think with everything in the media that we see, we think, man, wish I could be like that, or that's a great role model to have even, but they don't necessarily know the struggle or all the necessary steps that it took to get there.
So we've explored the impact of imposter syndrome on business owners and provided actionable strategies for building confidence and recognizing self-worth. Remember, overcoming self-doubt is a journey, and it's okay to seek help along the way.
We appreciate you and are honored to be on this journey with you. We can't wait to help you, to encourage you, and show you how to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually.
If you found Miss Biz helpful, please leave a review and share with others.
You can follow us on social media at Miss Biz Podcast.
For legal questions or services, please visit boltslegal.com.
And for digital marketing needs, please visit boltsmedia.com. Let's get biz done.